To Capital Hacking. This is your grateful host, Josh McCown, the illustrious Eric Cabral, illustrious Eric Cabral. And today, without even building up to it, we're going to jump right into our colleague today is Jay Scott. Nobody on the show needs to describe who he is, but we're going to do it anyway, because all of our listeners know the world famous thought leader from Bigger Pockets. And we just want to welcome you to the show. Thank you for being here, Jay.
Wow, that was quite the world famous thought leader.
Well,
I hope my wife's not listening to this because she is just laughing her butt off right now.
Good. I'm glad
Doesn't
she's
she
not
know?
listening, because she's the only one that probably shouldn't be listening, because you are clearly also a great salesman because you have a fantastic wife. So congratulations to you.
I'm batting above my level, as they say. whatever the quote there is.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. Although, let me tell you something, Josh, I don't know if people out there know this. I'm sure you talked about it, but you just had baby number 10. So your wife is the bravest, most bravest woman I've ever heard of. It's amazing. Not because of you, but that's just.
Dude, you got to meet her
Congratulations,
briefly.
man. I did.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Isn't she special? I mean, she's a tough
awesome.
lady. She's doing a great job with us now. By the way, she's working now in our Capital Group. Yeah. I'm so proud of her, and designing and all kinds of wonderful things. We'll get to her to meet Carol someday. Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, we did. We just had baby number 10. We told a story about it on another show, right, Eric?
Yeah. It's it. Come on. Who doesn't want to hear about the 10th baby?
It's the coolest. But no. Hey, I want to get into this, man. We have so much content, right, Eric?
Yes. We have so much love to pour out to the audience because Jay, and internally here, because we love and admire Jay for many years. He was integral to my personal growth as a real estate investor, and Josh as well. So yeah, we're just so happy and proud and honored for you to be here, brother.
I'm thrilled to be here. I love you guys, and I really appreciate you having me.
Awesome.
Yeah, Eric, you always have this great way of beginning shows.
Yeah, and inspired by BP and Bigger Pockets.
Oh,
but yeah, brother, let's do it in any salient or long form way. We're gonna let you take the mic, brother, because I think your story is super inspiring. And it involves your family and your wife and how all of it sort of happened for you. What was that entrepreneurial bug that sort of bit you and got everything rolling?
Yeah. So with me, my whole life, and I know other people have talked about this, but I think I don't know how to put this into a lesson. But one of the things that's kind of been a recurring theme in my life is just serendipity, just kind of being in the right place at the right time, and just kind of, I don't want to say getting lucky, but setting myself up to get lucky. Just, I don't know. Some people say being prepared or just kind of being all over the place. And so that's very much the case with real estate as well. 2006, I met my wife. We happened to be working in the same company. We were back in California working at eBay together. We worked together for a little while. She refused to date me because we worked together. So I quit my job. So she would go out with me. She said, then I found out she didn't really want to date me, but after I quit my job, she felt guilty and felt like she had to. 2 years later, we decided to get married. She was working like ridiculous hours. She was traveling like 3.5 weeks a month. I was traveling a week or two a month. So we never saw each other, which is probably why she fell in love with me. She didn't get to know me. And so 2008, we decided to get married. We realized that lifestyle just wasn't conducive to having a family. We both really wanted a family. We wanted to be able to raise our kids. So we said, we're quitting our jobs. We're going to go figure out something else. We're going to do what at the time people were referring to as a lifestyle business, basically just kind of a business that we could kind of put business first family first and business kind of second. We had no idea what that business was going to be. We quit our jobs. We moved back to the East Coast. This was May of 2008. The real estate market had gotten crushed. I mean, worst real estate market in history. We were sitting on the couch that summer trying to figure out what business are we going to start. This was not a good time to be starting a business, but we really needed to figure something out, or we wanted to figure something out. And as we're watching TV, like an HGTV show comes on TV, and just like every HGTV show back in 2008, it was all about flipping houses. So my wife said, why don't we do that? I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, well, we don't have any other business ideas right now. The wedding's coming up in a couple months. We're just sitting here watching TV. I want to flip a house. I like designing houses and stuff. And so anybody that knows me knows that that's kind of ludicrous. I barely can change a light bulb. But this was the woman that I was still trying to convince to marry me 2 months later. So anything she wanted. So I said, yeah, absolutely. Let's go flip a house. Jumped on the internet. I found Bigger Pockets. I started reading. I started studying. We started looking at houses. We looked at literally about 100 houses. Finally, my wife, who always makes the good decisions in my household, said, this is ridiculous. We've looked at like 100 houses. You refuse to take action on any of these. Whatever the next house we see is, we're going to buy it. 2 days later, we went out and a wholesaler showed us 3 houses. True to form, she said, we're buying those 3 houses. We literally put 3 houses under contract.
Amazing.
We bought the first one the day of our wedding. And then we bought the next 2 over the next couple weeks. And that's kind of how this started. It was just supposed to be flip one house to give us something to do. Before we knew it, we had those 3, we had 4, 5, 10, 50. And we just, a few years later, we looked back and we said, I guess this is the business that we're planning to start.
No, wait. I love how you say from 10 to 50. No one's ever done that. I mean, you are one of the 5 people that I know of in my life. And then you say 100. You throw 100 in there. I love that. I also just want to compliment you on, forgive me for interrupting you, the fact that you're making a transition in life and you sought out education. In that case, it was Bigger Pockets. But I know there's more to that story, so I don't want to interrupt you. So that's incredible you took action like that.
Yeah, no, that's and I'll tell you the luckiest thing for us is that we bought those first 3 houses kind of all at the same time, because that first one didn't go well. And literally had we bought the first and said, let's see how this goes, and then we'll decide if we want to do more, we never would have bought number 2. We never would have bought number 3. It was 2.5 years before we sold that first flip. But luckily number 2 and 3 went better. So it encouraged us to keep going.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to highlight that I've heard your story and I've heard this before, and I wanted to highlight it here, that Carol was basically watching all these flipping, right? All these sexy, romantic sort of flipping shows, as we all were during that crazy era of like that was all the rage of just watch all this and not necessarily take action. And what was cool is she actually said, dude, let's do this. And you were kind of not like, you were kind of on the fence about it. And it's crazy. Like Carol was really the impetus to starting that whole trajectory for you guys. And I just want to highlight too how profound it was for me to read your books, because it was very, everybody, we all went down the same path, right? The purple pill, reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, getting inspired, but it was not tactical. What were the step-by-step actions that I need to take? And then I found your book, which introduced me to Bigger Pockets, because Bigger Pockets podcast was sort of the same inspirational things, hearing ideas and concepts that other people implemented, but not necessarily telling me how to do it. But your book, I would literally carry it, dude, on potential flips, and I would go through the pages and go, "Is this where did Jay say here?" So I think, and I want to highlight to you guys and Carol especially that I feel like you guys planted the seed and germinated the whole movement of not just DIYers, but actual people who took your books and really found the confidence to say, okay, here it is, step by step, checkbox by checkbox. And you started that movement of actual doers, like the do generation, who like took Bigger Pockets and said, thank you for this. And then you basically help to launch the publishing aspect of it?
Yeah. First of all, thank you. I really appreciate that. Part of that is personality. Part of that was a little bit of it was planned.